See me, they know that every day when I'm breathing, it's for us to go farther, you know? Every time I speak, I want the truth to come out. You know what I'm saying? Every time I speak, I want to shiver. You know, I don't want them to be like, they know what I'm going to say because it's polite. They know what I'm going to say. And even if I get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? I know if I keep talking about how dirty it is out here, somebody going to clean it up.
Welcome, my son. Welcome to the machine.
You know what? I don't know what to believe. Just relax. That's it, lovely. Now, you may feel a small prick.
What is it?
Cutting-edge nanotechnology. Smart blood. Microchips in your bloodstream allows us to track your movements in the field.
Is our lead trainer who's been here for 34 years and also recently retained training
with related symptoms, patients with diabetes. You started them on treatment.
Yeah.
You just want to follow up and see.
Nurse Marina.
Hello, Marina.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Hello.
Nice to see
Fine,
you.
thank
Good
you.
morning, Marina. How
Good
you
morning.
Put some of this on. Here we go. Right, so this is, so what goes on in here? What is this MR
Yes.
and the BCG
Yes,
and all that jazz?
all of the-
Because there's all these anti-vaxxers now, isn't it?
Well, Marina can tell you a
They
little
are
bit about
nuts.
how we've achieved that.
Marina, what do you think of anti-vaxxers? I want everybody to get a flu jab in the run-up to this winter, and that's why we're rolling out the biggest ever programme of flu immunisation, flu inoculation. Obviously, we've still got COVID, we've still got the threat of a second spike of COVID, and it's vital, therefore, to keep that pressure off the NHS by everybody getting a flu jab, and I really hope everybody will. The use of face masks, the use of all the social distancing measures really does depend on our ability collectively to get the pandemic right down and to keep it down. I'm not going to make a prediction about when these various social distancing measures will come off. Obviously, we've been able to reduce some of them. We no longer ask people to stay at home. We're trying to get back much closer to normal. But our ability to dispense with the social distancing measures will depend on our continued ability to drive down the virus. Look, I think we should rely on the massive common sense of the British people that have so far delivered the results that we've seen, and that's going to work. And the people understand the value of face masks in confined spaces. I think we'll rely on the public to follow the guidance and get the disease down.
And I pray you're all well, because this is upon us. There is no warring against this thing the way men war. You understand? This is a dark, wicked, evil tyranny, satanic in its very nature, that is encompassing the world. And the only way to victory over this is by the blood of Jesus Christ. If you don't know him, call on his name with a sincere, humble heart, knowing you need a Savior, and that man cannot save man. It's all false hope and lies. He will guide you by his very Spirit into all truth and give you peace. What we're seeing is abundantly obvious, but I am coming on here to tell you, if you're in cities and you're getting any inclination whatsoever to get out of them, listen to that inclination, because things are coming, and they're coming rapidly. They're already threatening arrest for masks.
They are marching us rapidly into a system which I think many of us knew would one day arrive, but I don't think many of us knew would happen as quickly as it's happening at the moment. First off, take a look at this from the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum, you know, that's a Davos crowd led by Klaus Schwab. And here we can see an app that they're promoting called Traveling with Confidence. Well, if that doesn't scream beast system to you, then I don't know what would. And quite frankly, I see them pushing into this great reset as well, economic reset, with this whole travel changes with COVID vaccines and tracking and tracing. And I just want to play you now a bit of another clip I did a few weeks ago. I'm just going to replay it regarding the World Economic Forum and the Great Reset. This article titled, "Now is the Time for a Great Reset." Professor Klaus Schwab says we can emerge from this crisis a better world if we act quickly and jointly. The changes we've already seen in response to COVID-19 prove that a reset of our economic and social foundations is possible. This is our best chance to instigate stakeholder capitalism, and here's how it can be achieved. The COVID-19 lockdowns may be gradually easing, but anxiety about the world's social and economic prospects is only intensifying. There is a good reason to worry. A sharp economic downturn has already begun, and we could be facing the worst depression since the 1930s. But while this outcome is likely, it's not unavoidable. And he goes through various reasons here to pursue a great reset. The most important and the most urgent is COVID-19. Having already led to hundreds of thousands of deaths, he says, the pandemic represents one of the worst public health crises in recent history. I'll skip down the article, and further towards the bottom he says, during the COVID-19 crisis, companies, universities and others have joined forces to develop diagnostics, therapeutics and possible vaccines. establish testing centres, create mechanisms for tracing infections, and deliver telemedicine. Imagine what could be possible if similar concerted efforts were made in every sector. The COVID-19 crisis is affecting every facet of people's lives in every corner of the world, but tragedy need not be its only legacy. On the contrary, the pandemic represents a rare but narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world to create a healthier, more equitable, and more prosperous future. Okay, now I'm just going to go back to the Strategic Intelligence website, which you actually have to be logged in to see this. I'm just going to read a little bit on this Great Reset here. It says coronavirus-related lockdowns provided a glimpse of what is possible in terms of limiting pollution, and the pandemic's human toll illustrated what can happen when health care systems and society safety nets are neglected. Now it's up to the leaders in the private and public sectors to seize the moment and help create a more equitable and sustainable society. It's very interesting how they have turned this into opportunities for reducing pollution and creating sustainable development. Now, Klaus Schwab has been a consultant in the sustainable development areas of the United Nations over the past, and there are a whole lot of other articles related to this whole Great Reset within the Strategic Alliance's website. And look at this article from June 4th on the World Economic Forum. The Great Reset, this week's World versus Virus podcast. The Great Reset, launched by World Economic Forum and His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales, seeking better form of capitalism as world recovers from pandemic. Welcomed by the United Nations, International Monetary Fund and companies Microsoft, MasterCard and BP. The COVID-19 crisis has shown us that our old systems are not fit anymore for the 21st century, said World Economic Forum Executive Chairman Klaus Schwab. In short, we need a great reset. This week's World versus Virus is entirely devoted to the launch of the Great Reset, a project to bring the world's best minds together to seek a better, fairer, greener, healthier planet as we rebuild from the pandemic. Now, one of the components of this Great Reset and everything is the vaccine, the push for a vaccine. Now, take a listen to this from Donald Trump saying that the military will be used in a powerful way to deliver the vaccines to the American populace. And then have a listen to how far advanced and how quickly Fauci and Trump are talking about this rolling out.
One issue that has come up is once you do have a vaccine, how do you properly distribute it? How do you get it out quickly to millions?
Well, when we have the vaccine, we have the military all lined up, and the military is going to be doing it in a very powerful manner. These are people that don't usually do vaccines. They do soldiers, and they do lots of other things that, frankly, are more difficult. But we have our general, and logistically, he's all set. Tony, do you want to say something about that?
That is correct. As the vaccine rolls out, we'll be getting them distributed. And as you probably have heard, we are going to make sure that we do it in an equitable way, and it's representative of the populations who need it the most. And we have the standard way that we determine that with the ACIP working with the CDC, but Dr. Collins and Dr. Redfield have put together with the National Academy of Medicine a group that will fortify that decision-making process so that we're making sure that we're very fair and equitable in getting the vaccine distributed properly.
And I think I could have Francis say that tremendous progress has been made on the vaccine beyond anything that we would have thought if you go back 6 months. What do you think?
It is just, frankly, quite astounding, Mr. President. I've been at NIH for 27 years and director for 11. And I've seen some amazing things happen, but the way in which the whole research community, public and private, philanthropies, everybody has come together to work on this, not worrying about who gets the credit, trying to figure out how to strip away anything that's going to slow things down. And I think all of us, motivated by the fact that this is the most serious problem we've encountered in our professional lifetimes, even a day matters. And so that's why a lot of people look kind of sleepy, because we're all working 24/7, trying to make sure that nothing possibly slows this process down. Yeah, the vaccines. This week is a big week, as you just heard, having 2 phase 3 trials started in the very same day, this past Monday. And based upon very impressive phase 1 data showing that people who got that in the phase 1 trials developed these high levels of neutralizing antibodies that should be very predictive of protection, but you don't know until you actually run the trial in those 30,000 people. By the way, you heard earlier about coronavirus.gov, which is the place you can go to find out how you can donate plasma. There's another thing you can do if you go to that website, which is to sign up to say you're interested in a vaccine trial. And we need people to volunteer for that as well, because we're going to, with these 4 or 5 trials coming along very quickly, each of which needs 30,000 volunteers, that's a lot of people, and we need them.
And Francis, we're working very well with other countries.
We are indeed, and science has always been international, and it certainly is right now. And we work with our colleagues in Europe and the UK and Asia in a way that I think represents the best of the best. And again, everybody recognizes we're all in this together across the whole planet.
Now, there are all kinds of angles I could come at this from, but in wanting to keep this video short, I'm going to just look at it from this angle here. An RT.com article. Bubble indemnity. Big pharma firms will not be held accountable for side effects of COVID vaccine. A senior executive for pharmaceutical giant AstraZeneca has confirmed that his company cannot face legal action for any potential side effects caused by its COVID vaccine. Those affected will have no legal recourse. I'll go down the article a bit. AstraZeneca is one of 25 companies worldwide already testing their COVID vaccines on humans in preparation for injecting hundreds of millions of people. These are flush times for Britain's largest pharmaceutical company, worth something in the order of £70 million. They have just reported bumper profits of $12.6 billion in the last 6 months alone. Now I want to go down and look at another piece of this article here. The UK government has been on a vaccine spending spree, buying 250 million doses from various big pharma outfits. America, meanwhile, is way ahead of the curve. They have a special legal framework in which no pharmaceutical companies face lawsuits for side effects of vaccines in case of public health emergencies. This legislation, known as the PrEP Act, was the product of a massive lobbying effort from the US pharmaceutical industry, which was introduced despite vigorous opposition from consumer groups. Unless the vaccine maker intentionally murders or injures you, willful misconduct, you cannot sue them. With all of this going on and with pushing us into a digital age, digital identification, digital currency, artificial intelligence, all of these things that are going on, a big heads up it should be to all of us that we are certainly in crazy times, and these are the end times, and we are being sucked into the end time machine.
For me, it's like, if no one's wearing masks, I feel very unsafe going out. I'd rather just stay home.
This is the world we live in, and these are the
Healthy West Australians are being warned against using face masks to protect themselves against coronavirus. A safety video is going viral, showing how ineffective some can be as the nation struggles with a surgical mask shortage.
It's the safety video going viral. An Argentinian firefighter with a deodorant can, simulating a sneeze or cough. It's feared coronavirus could travel in the air, like deodorant does in aerosols. This demonstration showing most face masks are useless at trapping or blocking moisture.
People should not be walking around with masks. You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask.
The state government's advice in line with the World Health Organization. Unless you have symptoms of COVID-19, don't wear one.
To wear them as a perfectly fit and healthy person in the street is not going to provide you with any greater level of protection.
Unless thoroughly disinfected and cleaned, experts say homemade masks can even be dangerous.
They will soak up moisture very easily and can easily infect someone wearing them.
It is confusing and it is evolving, especially here in the city of Miami. Depending on where you are, masks can be a suggestion or guidance or a rule or a mandate. It is evolving, but one thing is clear. Every ounce of research shows that masks really do protect people from COVID-19. It's the legislation to mandate it.
They're confining people to their homes and forcibly. A little invasive, you think, maybe? Think about this, people. Understand? Forcibly testing them. This is a violation of your body beyond reproach. I got sent a letter that was put out to this apartment complex in California. Mandatory testing, mandatory quarantine, and I don't care if it's an elderly home. This is what they're doing, and it's coming. So you better be prepared, and you better be where the Spirit leads you to be. Otherwise, it's just going to be confusion and fear in your life, and you will